What's a harsh reality that everybody needs to hear? Some parents just don't love their children. Not every mother is a mom. Not every father is a dad. He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. It won't just happen. I spent a lot of my early 20s being sad and defeatist. Feeling sorry for myself. I always coped with this by telling myself that I'd make something of myself eventually, and meet a woman eventually, and be happy eventually. The truth is, eventually doesn't come if you don't make it come. Improvement has to be proactive. You can end up 40 years old, living with your parents, playing video games all day, and with no motivation. Nothing will prevent that from happening other than you. Thanks. I've stagnated and needed to hear this. If it helps, momentum builds and eventually good choices start paying exponential returns. Hard at first though, when you're stuck in a rut. Forgive yourself and step forward again. You gotta walk your dogs. I heard someone put it this way which really hit home. To you it may feel like a chore, but to your dog it's probably their favorite part of the day. My dogs live for their walks. Working from home really made that blatantly obvious. I used to skip walks sometimes, but after seeing them all day just waiting around to sniff the world I don't skip walks anymore. That and my one girl is getting older and you realize how much they deserve. While they are here I have doubled the park trips too. Whatever you say can and will be used against you. A closed mouth gathers no food. This saying works in almost every situation. Failure is part of life. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Jane Luckbucket. Sucking at something is the first step to being sorta good at something. Jake the dog. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Stephen McCraney. Just because you go out of your way for people, it doesn't mean they will do the same for you. Edit. I didn't expect this comment to get so many upvotes and replies as it has. Thank you for the awards too for those calling me out saying I shouldn't expect anything back, or I'm selfish, that I don't go out of my way to help others without expecting anything in return. That's not what my comment said. All I'm saying is, be careful who you drop everything for. Most of us learn that the hard way. I just learned this lesson. Some people will hurt you, and they won't care how you feel about it. And some of those people will be people you thought were good friends, or even your own family. The family aspect is a really hard thing to come to terms with, especially when you're raised with the whole blood is thicker than water trope. Eater, please scroll before you post the exact same. That's not the original phrase comment. Someone else posted the history of it, and it is the original phrase. Physical appearance matters. Almost everyone is shallow, and if you are ugly, people might treat you as inferior and you will have disadvantages in almost every aspect of life, i.e. pretty privilege or halo effect. Look that up. As an ugly person I confirm. Or fat. I've lost 70 pounds and I get treated differently. I'm curious to hear, if you don't mind. Life is not automatically easier just because you're a good person. Expecting life to treat you well because you are good is like expecting the bull not to charge at you because you are vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian. I know way too many vegetarians who think that animals will naturally love them because they don't eat meat. I would like to think I'm a Disney princess, but I know I'm not. Most people should not be on social media of any kind because they cannot handle what it does to them mentally. It is not about socialization, it's about corporations monetizing your life. Many of us were the frog slowly boiled in the monetization of the internet. We started out when it was a place corporate media laughed at, and we had our space and our fun, and were left to ourselves. Slowly ads and marketing and data collection creeped in, and none of us noticed that the internet fundamentally changed. Some of us did, even subconsciously, but we were already engaged, habituated. Now it can seem very hard to pull away and find some meaningful life that isn't connected to everyone else 24/7. You can love someone with all of your heart and not be loved back in the same way. I wasted a lot of time in my life either being too stupid to learn this or at the very least too stubborn to admit it to myself. My stupid heart decided it would rather go the rest of my life pining over the one I don't have than move on. My head is furious. My lungs indifferent. Time is the ultimate currency, friend. You can't have more. Spending it on someone is the ultimate show of love, but reciprocation is important to all relationships. Do you think that, after all the time you've spent, that has gone unrequited? If this person were to one day realize the potential you've known for so long, that it would feel the way you hope. My experience is that it does not. Go out and live. Pursue passions that don't rely on the whims of others. Hopefully somewhere along the way, you find someone you feel strongly about who recognizes the value of the time you want to spend with them. If not, you've still lived a life you can be proud of. Bad things can happen to good people. Good things can happen to bad people. It's unfair. It's life. You can do everything perfectly correct and still fail. One of the best scenes from The Office. Ryan, I just don't know what I did wrong. Dwight, look, not everything's a lesson. Sometimes you just fail. Apostrophe. There's a similar scene in a later season of House. M.D. When he loses a patient. Foreman, you did everything you could. House, that's the problem. I did everything right and she still died. Groundhog Day. The man who dies. Bill Murray's character tries everything and he can't save him. Not everyone likes you. Some people won't like you for very arbitrary reasons. Or for no reason at all. It takes way too much of your energy trying to make people like you. Use that energy on yourself and your loved ones. It's a life lesson I learned much later than I could have. Sometimes I think about it in these terms. Not everyone likes me, but hey, I don't like everyone either. Yep, me either. But I try not to show it if it's just a personality clash and they haven't actually wronged me. But those people who make it really clear you pee them off, even though you've tried your best to be nice to them, they bug me. It isn't too hard to be politely neutral, or neutrally polite. Celebrities and influencers need us more than we need them. Apostrophe. Hegel's master/slave dialectic revised for the 21st century and perfectly summarized in one sentence. I love it. It's a Star Trek reference, but it's a very realistic one. It is possible to make no mistake and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. Sometimes you need to accept you did everything within your power right and it still went bad. And remember that this isn't something to beat yourself up over. These things happen. Edit holy hell did blow up. I'm glad to see so many I needed to hear this comments. I know I needed to hear this the first time I saw this scene. You don't realize the good/best times as they are happening. I have absolutely known when I was living in the good times. And it broke my heart. I wanted to stop time and live there forever. And I couldn't. I tried to just be grateful. I have absolutely known when I was living in the good times. And it broke my heart. I wanted to stop time and live there forever. And I couldn't. This is where I'm right now. My daughter is just over 2 and an absolute joy. I'm in reasonably good health. Still have one of my parents. Have an outstanding mother-in-law. Enough money in the bank and enough food in the fridge. And I also know that at any point any of those factors can, and especially with my daughter growing up, will change. Your first relationship most likely won't be your last. When I hear young girls say their first boyfriend is the love of their life, I just smile. That was me. Madly in love at 15 and thought we'd be together forever. It makes me laugh. Thankful my first relationship was loving and respectful enough to make me hopeful for the next. It's funny. I was very much in love with my first boyfriend. He meant a lot to me. Sometimes I'd fantasize about getting married and spending our lives together. But always, in the back of my mind, even at 16, I was like, I'm not gonna marry my high school sweetheart. Lol, a pragmatist from the womb. I admire you. Every time I speak to a cute guy, I'm fantasizing about our wedding. Just because someone is your family doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. Corollary, not all parents love their children. Many parents shouldn't have had children. If your parents are abusive, get out as soon as you can and never look back. Unfortunately, it's only going to get worse. No one should ever have to endure abuse. Having kids is easy, being a parent takes work. Nobody is coming to save you. You have to do it yourself. Be the person you needed while you were growing up. I love this because it provides the right direction for personal growth. I hate this because it means I will never reap what I will sow and shall never sit under the shade of the tree I plant. Little shits better enjoy my hard work and shall never sit under the shade of the tree I plant. The last 2 houses I've had, we've planted really good blood orange trees. With both houses, we've literally moved as the trees have started putting out a large amount of fruit. I feel like I'm setting up blood orange franchises all over town. And it worries me that the people that buy these houses will either take them out or simply not take care of them. You can become disabled unexpectedly at any point in your life. Make sure you're taking advantage of the abilities you have while you have them. Close bracket. Something that traumatized me as a kid was when we were learning about Ray Charles' life in music class. The man is famous for being a blind musician, but what I never knew until that day was the fact that he was neither born blind, nor did he get into a freak accident or something. He was literally just existing one day, and then suddenly his eyes stopped working. Literally lost all ability to see anything permanently out of nowhere with absolutely nothing he could have done to stop it or prepare for it. It gave me a deep phobia of suddenly becoming blind that took me a while to get over. Wikipedia says, Charles started to lose his sight at the age of 4 or 5, 18 and was blind by the age of 7, likely as a result of glaucoma. 19. Sometimes you're the bad guy. Holy yes, this blew up. This one, and I think it has a sister. Just because you're pissed off doesn't mean it's someone else's fault. Sometimes you're just being an unreasonable fuckface. Don't sweat it, it happens to all of us. But if you keep telling the story where the other person is the bad guy, you probably never learn a lesson and stop acting like an unreasonable fuckface. The past few years I've become honest about why I'm pissed off when I am. I'd simply tell someone that I'm pissed off cause at that moment, I'm just an unreasonable cunt. And it's not the other's fault. Unless it is, of course. Depression, an illness, a bad upbringing and many more. These are not excuses to treat people badly. If someone is nice to you, then these are not excuses to treat them like shit. And if you do, they are not required to forgive you. No one is required to give you a second chance. Your mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Apostrophe. Hail yourself. This one is both harsh and comforting. People don't think about you as much as you think they do. That means that your feelings might be ignored or not considered. People will forget things about you and might not remember things you've done together that were very memorable for you. That can be hard to realize. On the other hand, they probably don't remember that embarrassing thing you did in high school, or they don't care about it. They notice patterns of behaviors more than occasional bad days that you have. So those times you feel bad about being off with someone, they probably don't think about them unless they become frequent. Personally, I find that comforting. Yeah, I needed to read this. Just to add to this, something that took me a while to swallow is this: the only person's reactions and thoughts you can control are your own. I'm in my 30s and only recently began to let this sink in. I thought I'd be happy when I graduated college, or when I got my first apartment, or when I bought my first home. Don't expect happiness to be at the finish line. Happiness comes from yourself, in the now. Enjoy the process. So what do I do if I'm not happy in the process? And according to this, I have nothing to look forward to. IDK, I don't fully agree with the top level comment. I told myself I'd be happier when I graduated high school because I'd have freedom. This was true. I told myself I'd be happier when I graduated college because I'd have structure. This was true. I'm telling myself I'll be happier when I own the place I live because I'll have control. This will probably be true. None of these steps was a silver bullet clearing all of the problems in my life and making me happy. But they gave me at least one thing to look forward to and made me happier. It's not guaranteed that the next phase of your life will fix things, but don't underestimate the power of having something to look forward to. Sincerely, a depressed MF who's been working on it for over a decade. Things do get better, but they get better slowly and with way more work than you want. Nobody cares. So just go for it. Everyone's busy with themselves to pay too much attention to what you are doing. Facts. A teacher in high school taught me at the end of the day nobody cares about you. Nobody is going to bed at night thinking of your problems, and it always stuck with me. While I agree with this sentiment, there's definitely times where I think about other people's problems. I definitely don't judge them as much as I judge my own problems though. The probability of you making it as a professional gamer slash streamer slash YouTuber isn't worth quitting your job. You have a higher chance of getting hit by a car or winning $1 million lottery. Not saying give up, but be realistic. Keep a job that'll pay the bills while you try. Don't quit your day job until your internet career is already paying your bills. In addition to the odds being stacked against you, you don't even know if you can keep up content production without dipping your toes in a way that keeps your real job. Don't quit your day until any side gig is already paying your bills. Those LinkedIn posts about dropping your day job for non-set up side gig can stuff it. Those people have always had huge safety nets, either from years of saving or from mommy and daddy. Your trauma is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Also, that shared trauma is not a good foundation for a relationship. Speed. 1994. https://www.imb.com/title/tt0111257/quote/ref_tt_trv_qu. Jack, I have to warn you. I've heard relationships based on intense experiences never work. Annie, okay. We'll have to base it on sex then. Jack, whatever you say. Ma'am, I'm disappointed how far I needed to scroll for this. You don't have as many friends or family as you think. I have a chronic illness, and the number of people who bailed on me during my hardest times only to pop up. Surprised I was upset with them. Once I started healing is truly disgusting. You've got a core few. Nurture those relationships like your life depends on it. Mine does. I remember reading one of those This Is My Life articles in a magazine about 20 years ago. It was about a woman who was in a fairly fresh relationship when her boyfriend became paralyzed. Despite not being in love with him, she stayed by his side to take care of him, giving her entire life up to do so, while every one of their mutual friends basically faded into the background. About 2 years later, she realized that she and her boyfriend were basically only still together due to him now being disabled. Despite a ton of guilt, she did the right thing and broke up with him. When she later ran into those same friends of theirs, they were incredibly unfriendly to her, treating her coldly because she had abandoned her boyfriend when he needed her. Edit. She also commented how much that hurt considering she had stayed and they'd gone AWOL, yet they were still treating her like a monster. I was probably about 19 when I read this, and even at that age, the total lack of self-awareness those people apparently had completely dumbfounded me and still does. Edit. Grammar. Autocorrect. Clarity.